Well, guys, we're kind of on the motor phase now, so get the cowling off, and we're gonna replace the plugs. We're gonna drain the fuel out of the vapor separator and see what we have in there, as well as maybe pump the old oil out of the tank, get fresh fuel, fresh oil, see if we can't get some spark, get this thing running. And always remember, when a motor's been sitting for a long time, fog up, just spray some oil on all the linkage and moving parts, just so you don't seize anything up. Might even change the fuel filter if we get around to it, but stay tuned. We'll let you know how it goes. Might take some video of the process.
Yes. Well, guys, you can see the #1 cylinder right here got really hot at some point.
Oh, the tank's full.
Is it?
Oil tank's full.
Got super hot at one point. So this is the water hose right here that comes in here to cool down the head. We think that at some point it might have gotten jammed up and caused no water to come through and help cool this cylinder down. So we're gonna go and take this apart sooner than later and see what the deal is with that. But right now we're gonna head to O'Reilly's, get some spark plugs, 6 of them, and we're gonna work on it from that point on. But definitely new cylinder or new spark plugs, and we're gonna kind of try to assess the damage here of what happened to this #1 cylinder, because every other cylinder looks good, doesn't look hot at all, and it's just this one. So right now we're either thinking ECU, but I mean, for something to get this hot, something has to be messed up down here. So we'll get it updated for you guys. Well, guys, we're draining fuel out of the
Vapor separator.
yeah, and we're just about to the top, but we obviously have oil in our fuel, so that's good. That's not why the motor was hot.
So the next step in diagnosing the problem with this motor is we just went ahead and changed out the fuel filter. So what you have to do to get this is you need one of these sleeve wrenches. You just undo the wire connection, the sensor under it, slip this up, turn it off, or you can do it by hand. Take it all the way off, dump the old fuel into a container, see how much water you have in it, then discard that. Then you want to get your new filter, fill it with fresh gas before you put it on, because it'll make it a lot easier to prime the fuel system when you want to start it again. Thread it on, go an 1/8 to a 1/4 turn past tight with your sleeve wrench. Put the fitting back on, and then you might want to write the date and year you did this, the month and year, so that way next time you go to do it, you know when it needs done again. So then we think, Eric thinks there's a big thermostat problem in here. It looks like there is, because I mean, look at that. You can see it got real hot up here, so we're thinking maybe this thermostat is an opening. So we'll take those out. Yeah, I'll take them both out. Check those out. And then when that's done, we are going to do a compression test on the cylinders, see if she fires up, and yeah, that's pretty much the next step.
Then we got our 2 final spark plugs on the bottom 2 cylinders. So
We got fresh gas, fresh oil, changed our filters.
spark.
Now we'll look at the thermostats.
And see if that was the reason it got so hot. Because, ladies and gentlemen, your motor should never be exceeding this temperature of just extreme heat. So
So working with motors that have been sitting for a long time, it might be a good idea to spray some fogging oil in the cylinders and all the moving linkage parts, just because when it sits there for a long time and gets dry, and you move it, it might seize up if there's no lubrication. So just a fail-safe safety thing.
anyways, we're gonna get wrenching on this right here, take it off, and see what we find. There you go. Well, guys, right now, taking off these 2 bolts that hold the thermostat, I believe it'd be the thermostat housing in. As you can tell, there's already kind of some corrosion, some stuff. So we're going to you guys will get the first look of how bad this is. How crusty are we talking, ladies and gentlemen?
Not as bad as the other guy's video.
No. Actually pretty clean. That's good. So one side does look good.
We'll still get it cleaned off while it's out though.
Yeah, it doesn't look bad at all. And then we'll look at the next one. Well, guys,
Oh, that's clear.
this
The hole's clear.
this thermostat right here is stuck closed. Right? Stuck closed. And then this one right here, where's the other one?
It's open as it should.
This one's stuck open as it should be. But it might have been stuck open for a long time, which may have caused things. We'll see. We're gonna just kind of look at it, clean this hose up, make sure all the stuff is looking good in there and clear, and then we're gonna put her together and compression test it, so on and so forth. So stay tuned. Well, guys, the easiest way to tell if your thermostats work is you take them out of their housings, you put them in a pot full of warm water, and once they reach a certain temperature, usually the temperature of what they're set to.
140.
I believe these are 140 on this motor. I'll double check. Once it's to that temperature, they should open up. So yeah, well,
Right now we're just getting them roughly clean.
this
for,
one
for the broiler.
This one did get really hot, and so it's kind of melted in there. But we put some what's it called? What's the crap called? Just some lubricant in there, some oil, trying to get her loose. So let's see what happens. I'm gonna get this a little bit closer up for you guys right here. That is a shot thermostat. This one could still work, but we're just gonna buy a new one just to play it safe. Either way, at some point those malfunction and probably cause the overheating problem. But you never know. We'll see what happens. We're gonna clean these lines up. You can see there's a little bit of corrosion in there, but definitely not terrible by any means. This one's pretty good, but we'll get these cleared up, pump some water through it, head to West Marine, get it done. So stay tuned.
Well, guys, as you can see, we were all set up to do a compression test, and in fact, we actually took all the cylinders out last night, hooked this up in the
Spark plugs, not cylinders.
Yeah, we took the cylinders, spark plugs out, and so our gear right here on our starter, it would pop up and engage the ring gear on the flywheel, but it would spin, but this is seized. Eric and his dad took some pry bars this morning, and this just would not budge, so that tells us the pistons are seized. So we trimmed it all the way up to get the block as vertical or horizontal as possible. We're gonna fill those with some kind of penetrating fluid, lubricant, and kind of let them soak down to the cylinders for at least a few hours while we wait before we try to proceed, because can't hurt anything doing that. It's just gonna break up all the old rust and solvent.
And hopefully not rings.
Yeah.
And then we move the boat so that way when we're working on it, or now, we drop the tongue down to get those as level as possible, the cylinders and the motor, so we gotta have equal distribution on the rings. But yeah, and we got all the old crusty stuff off the side of the hole here with the hole cleaner. That stuff works absolute wonders. And then we still haven't done it to the back, but that's what that whole hole used to look like. So we'll get that kind of cleaned out here and do that too. So all a work in progress, but so far it's going well. The motor is a bit of a setback, but things are to be expected. So we put penetrating oil in it, let it sit for a week, and nothing. We tried moving the flywheel up here by putting a nut on it, or not a nut,
Cheater bar.
yeah, cheater bar, and just trying to pull that off.
Cheater bar's bending, it wasn't budging.
Yeah, it was completely locked down. So we just took the cylinder cover off, and there's the top part of the cylinders. Doesn't look terrible. I mean, there's a little bit of blockage here, but this is what's bad, guys. This ring on this gasket right here, completely burnt up, as you can see in there, is now disintegrated. That's all from the gasket.
That's the problem.
And now it seems like when it got super hot too, this has started to deteriorate. There's rust all over the cylinder walls. This is probably filled with crap, but
Take the gasket off.
yeah, we're gonna take the gasket off right here.
Carefully.
It's hooked on down here too a little bit.
Cooling passages are pretty gunked up, but not
Gunked up, but not
awful.
blocked. Yeah.
Water's still getting through there.
You can definitely see how we're definitely having some blockage issues. And there's just a ton of gunk, guys. There's not much else to say, but yeah. It definitely rusted, so this is probably, we should probably pull off the other side. And then we'll really know the full story here, so we'll keep giving you guys updates. That would have been a close one. Well, guys, there's a lot of torque on these bolts holding in the heads and or the covers. And yeah, don't take those off. This is what happens when you have to use a wrench as your cheater bar. Perfect size.
Hey. We got it off though. They're all loose.
The mercury drew blood. But they got loose. We're gonna take this sensor off and then see what the other one looks like. Well, guys, we got this cover off. Now we are slowly working this gasket off. We just want to make
A lot better shape.
a lot better shape than the other side. A lot less rust on this side, guys. More carbon buildup though. I'd rather see carbon buildup than rust.
So this goes just like this.
So you guys, you can see right here, the top ring of this gasket is intact and whole. And then on the sleeve, it's the same way. And you come over here, you can see where this side has been chipped out, and then this gasket right here broke. So this is the bad side.
The passages just look cleaner too.
Yeah, everything's nicer on this side. So the right side is definitely where the problem was, and it looks like it stayed with the right side, but we're gonna see what we can do from here. Well, guys, as you can tell, it's cleaned up pretty good. Got a lot of the corrosion out of there and all that. Cylinder walls look good. The sleeves, everything, pistons, everything looks good, feels good. But you can just tell with the machining and all that, it's really clean.
300 hours.
Yeah, it has 373 hours total on the motor, and it's a 96, so it's just never been used, and everything looks really good. And we know that the last owner didn't run it that long after the this piece of the block came off, so we're gonna try to get it freed up here and then figure out how to fix that right there. Well, guys, we're gonna keep working on the motor here. If any of you guys have any experience with seized motors or outboard motors or any motor that's ever been seized, how'd you guys get it undone? And just any tips you guys have. So thank you, as always. Tight lines.